Welcome back, New Jersey football fans, to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. We had a great first week of the public playoffs. We got another great week coming up. We're happy that you're spending your time here with us. Whether you're listening to this thing later on podcast format or you're watching it live, you're in the chat, our normal group. They feel like family at this point in the year, Mac. We're ready for more. Coach Tim McAneney. Playoff time probably always makes you reminisce over that ring, that championship.
Yeah, I mean, it's ironic. This is usually the week. This used to be the weekend of first round of playoffs.
Yeah.
Right? Teachers Convention Week, as everybody knows it as in New Jersey.
Right. That's right.
Always a funky time because as a coach, you got to practice on Thursday before noon, right? That's usually the deal in the public school world. And then you got a game on Friday, and it's Friday night. And you're wondering, your kids are out of sorts. Whenever your kids are out of sorts, it throws you off. You don't think, oh, they get to sleep in. It's like, no, you want them in their rhythm. But we've had some good playoff runs. We had some bad playoff runs, right? But either way, the common denominator is being in the playoffs. Yeah, that's the key. Just survive, advance, win ugly, win any way you can. Just get to the next round.
Yeah, we have a lot to cover today, Mac. We got a couple excellent performances, some clutch performances, some upset wins, some big games ahead of teams that we've seen all year as they've continued to grow and mature and really be ready for this time of year. We had a lot of conversation over the new playoff structure. We had a brawl that's, many have been talking about of the ramifications of that. So South Jersey football is in the limelight, and that's exactly how we like it. First, I'm going to give a shout out to our presenting sponsor, the West Jersey Football Coaches Association, established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. In less than 4 years, the association created the Battle at the Beach, the event that kicks off the season, and they've dedicated themselves to helping others. They've donated more than $100,000 to numerous causes, including National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. We appreciate their sponsorship of the show. Also got to shout out our guy, Dave O'Sullivan, the founder of sjglorydays.com. If you're watching on Facebook, South Jersey Glory Days, this is Sully's page. Go to his website where you can visit and see all the local high school sports coverage. Mac, let's get right into it. Shadid, we see you in the Facebook chat here. If anybody's in the Facebook chat, be sure to let us know. Let us know where you're going this weekend, what you're looking forward to. Share this thing on. Chris, good to see you, man. Glad you're in here. And usually a Spotify listener, but glad you're in here live. Mac, the game of the week last week, I looked at it. There are a lot of good matchups. I said, if there was a Wayback Machine, not to go too far way back, not to the Pennsauken days of yore, but just to go not too long ago to an age where Cherry Hill East as a program is trying to get on their feet, right? They're playing, at one point, they're playing Haddon Township. There's nothing against Haddon Township, but just the size of the schools, the discrepancy. Cherry Hill East looking to get their sea legs.
Struggling.
And, big time.
Struggling.
For many years. And Coach Tyler Drob now has the Cougars. They won their first playoff game in a long time last year at Southern, but they're hosting a playoff game on Friday against the three-time state champ in Toms River North. Just to even think about that being a possibility for a game of the week a few years ago seemed unfathomable. To be there and to see what happened, a great game, really one of the best games of the weekend, and I think Rod would agree with that as he was also there. Cherry Hill East loses this game 22-14. That's the downside for the Cougars. The good side for the Cougars is they're right there as a program, and I think that a couple things had gone their way. Maybe it's a different story. Three things I want to shout out, though. First off, Cole Garrison of Toms River North got the hat. His team's up 14-8 after Cherry Hill East cuts the lead in the fourth quarter, and he takes a kickoff to the house, 86 yards, which really, proves to be the winning score, but was a huge blow, right? You score, you got the game close, 86 yards up the middle. He got the hat. He's the second Toms River North Mariner to get the hat, the first being Jalen Matthews, the big offensive lineman a few years ago when they beat Millville at the Battle of the Beach. That's the first thing, was that huge play. He also had a touchdown on offense. But Dominic Canzano of Cherry Hill East, another guy who deserves mention for his performance on Friday night. Here's a kid who, at his defensive lineman position, Mac, he deflects a ball and intercepts it, almost runs it in for a touchdown.
Good stuff.
And then later in the game, goes through the line, strips the ball with one hand, and recovers it inside the 5-rod. He had a great performance.
I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
I don't know. But I will say this. Dominic deserved...
Rod gave us a thumbs up on a great performance.
Yeah, he deserved the mention. The Cougars fall short in the South Jersey Group 5 quarterfinal.
All right. Now you hear me.
Okay, now I hear you.
But nah, he had a great game. One of the guys that stood out. And like I said on one of the other shows, sometimes we kind of underestimate how good some of the kids were of Cherry Hill East because of the scheduling or what have you, what they've done in the past. But he was a phenomenal standout, one of the better defensive linemen that I've had to see in person this year. So we're talking about a guy that was athletic enough to realize that it was a screen pass, drop back into the passing zone, tip the ball, catch it, and then turn up field. So, I mean, very athletic, really good football player. Just had to make that known.
And I'll say this, the third thing, Rod, that I want to mention about this game. That game proved how thin the margin is in playoff football, right? You got a team that an inch here, an inch there, you could say in some instances a call here, a call there. That's very close to a pick six Canzano has, just barely getting the swipe of the feet to trip him up. That play ends up saving points. Cherry Hill East doesn't convert on that drive, I don't believe. So it was really just one thing here or there. One thing that hurt Cherry Hill East in this game as well is they have maybe the best kicker in South Jersey, or one of the best. His name escapes me right now, who went out with I believe it was it an Achilles injury, or it was a leg injury or foot injury that sidelined him for the season. Well, he not only would be in field goal range, right?
Of course.
Throughout the game, because they stalled out in the red zone, I think 3 times.
About 3 times, yep.
But also, many of his kickoffs land in the end zone, which is automatic touchback. Which, I mean, like I said, that's how thin the margin is. You lose somebody, it can be pretty damaging in high school football. Dom is an Eastern Junior Varsity, or Eastern Junior Viking.
Yep.
Sam Cook, good to see you in here. Thomas, good to see you in here. And Unhappy Hermit, I know it's not a happy week in Richland after losing a Spirit. Dwayne, glad you made the trip down from Union, man. It's great to spend time with you. Matt Best is in here. We got Linda Alisea. I hope I pronounced that correctly. But I'll say this. Her son is a force on the defensive line for Washington Township. We got a lot of people in here. Everybody, I mean, the numbers are up. Everybody's anxious for high school football. And we've finally fallen back.
We fall. Everybody's got an action.
It's a little bit dark. Everybody's got time to get ready.
Extra hour sleep. Here's what I want to talk about. Times River North, Cherry Hill East. We talked about this earlier. East has they're a different program than they were 5-7 years ago.
Yes.
No doubt. You just wonder if you could go into the athlete's head, and there's so much talk and on some of these things now that weren't as deemed as important. On the bus ride up or over or from Toms River North to Cherry Hill East.
A lot of travel, by the way.
A ton of travel.
Yeah, a lot of travel.
They're not thinking, can we win? Will we win? They're thinking we're going to win. At that program for years and years and years, I mean, you want to go back to the Pennsauken days? Pennsauken was up 14-0 against Toms River North back in 81, and lost 15-14. Yeah. So that team's been giving me agita. They win. It's in the DNA down there. We know programs up here that it's in their DNA. Not that Cherry Hill East hasn't had great programs in the 80s, not early 90s. They've had, early teens. They've had some teams. You have to have your program needs to get to a point where not in a cocky, overconfident. You're going to win the game. You're there to win the game.
We play to win the game.
Well, that's kind of the deal. And that self kind of questioning, and that just comes with getting into more of these games. I mean, heck, let's go back to Timber Creek in 2001, right? Like we're talking at the infant stages of that program.
Right.
They weren't winning many football games, right?
Yeah.
To, change culture, change, the whole Bobby comes in and then you come to Timber Creek after that, you're winning. That's just one of the instances that comes to mind because we hit that juggernaut too.
Well, learning how to win is a real thing too. Everybody doesn't know how to win, how to finish games, how to close them out, just how to even play within that atmosphere. When we had Coach Trible on the show, I asked him one of those things. How are you guys adjusting to all of the media?
To winning,
the eyes, all of that stuff. It really matters. It comes down to it. And we're talking about kids who are, 16, 17, maybe 18, maybe.
Couple, maybe. Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure. You're coming in. Toms River is the only team that has ever won a state championship out of that group. And you're about to play them at home.
Yes.
Trying to get over the hump. It's just a lot to go into and figure out how to win a game like that.
And it doesn't mean that the kids weren't prepared. It doesn't mean that they didn't do all the right things.
Exactly.
It just, there comes to a point where there's always a time in a football game that you can't control what's going on in someone's belly or their heart or their head. But you just know, like Trib, you've been to how many football games you've been on the side?
Lot of games.
A lot. Rod, right? I'm older than both of you. So I've coached in a bunch, been to a bunch, grew up in a bunch. On a sideline when a team thinks they can win or is trying to convince themselves they can win.
Sure.
How about this line, guys? Please, in high school football, let's eliminate this game line on sidelines. We can beat these guys. That's to me. That's the ding, 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 ding. You can't win, right? How many times, right, Ron? We can beat these guys.
We can beat these guys.
Or they come off the field in the first series. These guys aren't nothing.
Oh, they aren't that good.
They ain't nothing.
I hated that as a coach to hear that.
And it's usually the team that's the underdog, right?
Yep.
Telling everybody they ain't nothing. You got a team on Rod. Rod, am I spot on or what?
No, that's spot on.
You got when your team's focused and ready to win and ready to win football games. They're not coming off the field going, we could beat these guys or they're nothing. They're just they're breathing through their nose trying to figure out second down. It's not about trying to hype up your 10th graders at that point. Sorry, I'm getting a little juiced up.
No, but that's a good point.
But that just and there's an evolution that happens. Winning begets winning, right? Winners win, right? And that's why you see programs continue to win, and then others lose. Yeah. You have to. That has to keep somewhere. That's got to the gear's got to click somewhere and hit. And once that gear clicks, whatever it might be, you can every program switch or every culture change in every program. I bet you asked the coach, what did it? What game did it? What play maybe a play did it? Oh, we never get the calls, coach. We never get the refs don't like us. Yeah, the refs don't care who you are.
And I was going to say that. What was, for some of the programs that you had, what was that switch? But you just hit on something about the officiating. Yeah. There were some plays that were kind of questionable, but in every football game, you have to overcome that. You have to figure out how to get over that hump. Even the one was a critical call, but you then get back in the red zone 2 additional times after that. You got to find a way to get it done, but the switch for getting over the hump.
It could be, early on, I'll go back to 2012. We're a 3-win football team going to play at Shawnee on Thanksgiving. And, I laugh because my sons all went there, but it's their parents' day. They're in the playoffs. They're doing the Shawnee perennial winning team, right? And we decide to show up in all red on the road, right? We're like, we're going to show up wearing red on red. And they're wearing their home uniforms. Kind of like UCLA, USC, right? They both wear their homes. And we leave the locker room with the drum line, and we're like, I get goosebumps now. That's when our program was like, we're not losing again. Now we lost again, but that was it. The moment when kids were like, you know what, we're not losing again.
Yeah.
And in that game, we controlled the whole game, and Shawnee took a late lead, and we went down the field. We thought we were going to overtime. We went down the field, and Jerry Jones kicked the field goal to win the game. And I'm telling you, if you look at it on film, Shawnee comes within, through a guy's arms of blocking that kick. We win the game on Thanksgiving Day, 2012. We had lost some heartbreakers in 11 and 12, in a 4-win season. But we won one. We won a game that we, quote unquote, supposed to lose.
Right. You finally did it.
And then the kids were like, Coach, we can, yeah. And then they pile on, right? The next year, 13-4. And then, then you get to the point where you got to climb the mountain even higher. Like for us on 14, we're undefeated. We now have to beat Cherokee. We've talked about this on the show. Lenape's got to beat Cherokee, right? Now we've beaten Seneca, we've beaten Shawnee. Now we got to beat Cherokee, right? Because they're the 900-pound gorilla in our district, in the South Jersey world. Coach Megan and his guys over there with all the championships. And then you got to go through the process. You got to win a playoff game. You got to know you can do that stuff, and you still get punched in the mouth on the way. Trust me, you get some losses on the way too, but you don't lose because you're walking back to the sideline thinking, we can beat these guys.
What you're explaining, correct me if I'm wrong, is you go from hope to belief. Trust. That's the difference, right? Or trust.
Trust. Our lines.
Preparation has got us here. We keep doing that next year or next week, and it will continue to produce results.
Listen, Rod, any Lenape football player from 2011 till recent, the locker room still says trust, believe, commit. Trust, believe, commit. That's the Lenape locker room.
And once you reach that point where you're not thinking about we can beat these guys or we're going to win, you get in those situations where it may be a tight game or a game where you aren't playing your best. Nothing's really said on the sideline. It's not like you don't hear the rah-rah speeches. It might be just like a look. All right, kid, let's go.
And coaches aren't yelling at each other.
Right.
It's just like, all right, something happened. You fumble the ball. Nobody's like pointing. It's like, the offensive line coach brings the line over here, the D line over there. Yep. You call a timeout. You just like, and that permeates through the whole program. Mm-hmm. Now it's in vogue to talk about progress, preparation and process and all that process. But you really can't. I heard a great quote the other day by Cooper Kupp. He says, practice like it means everything and play like it means nothing.
Right.
And not that means you don't, you don't play like it means nothing. It's just if you've crossed all the T's and you've dotted all the I's and you've done all the film work and you've done all the off-season lifting and you've done all the stuff 3-4 days a week. If you've done, now it's time to do, and now you go have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we used to talk about. Friday nights is when you get paid. Like, that's when you go, no pressure, man. Let's just go out and do it.
Well, I think it's a great point, Coach. And when you talk about building a program, certainly you did that in a couple of different areas. You've been a part of it as a player. Under Coach Folsom and what he built at Bishop Eustace in his short time there. You watch your dad, systematically roll through the area with powerhouse teams that all rose to the standard that was Pensacola, and they didn't
always have the same talent every year.
No,
like everybody talks about the '84, the NFL guys we always throw out. There were years at Pensacola, and I hate to say only won 7 games in a 9-game schedule. Only one, 6-3.
Good problems to have.
Good problems. 6-3. My dad, I knock wood, he's passed, never had a losing season at Pensacola High. Like, it was, you just you grew up, you played for PYAA, you went on, you played for the Panthers, and you went to play for the Indians, and then you're on a pretty good football team, and you probably ended up with a jacket sometime in your 4 years, maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it was. And but that is something that's it's culturally, it has to permeate through the program. It starts Januaries of years prior.
Yeah.
And prior.
Well, we got a lot of good action to get to. I'm I'll tell you just right now how we'll do the format tonight. We're going to do our next segment after this break here in a minute. We're going to go through Group 1. We're going to go through Group 2. And we're going to go through Group 3. Then we're going to do our Knots of the Week. In segment 3, we're going to go through the non-pub matchups. And in segment 4, we're going to go through Group 4 and Group 5. So we got a lot to cover. We're going to cover every game that features a South Jersey team, just like we did last week. We don't care how long we're going to be here, but we're going to get it done. So sit tight and stay tuned. Thank you all for watching. Share the show. South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. In less than 4 years, the association created the Battle at the Beach and has dedicated itself to helping others. The association has donated close to $100,000 to date to provide scholarships through the National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. The group has also donated to the charity Philly Faces, which helps those in need of facial reconstruction surgery. Thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for their sponsorship of the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by Capstone Medical Services, a dedicated team of experienced healthcare professionals with a strong presence at the youth, middle school, high school, collegiate, and post-collegiate levels. They specialize in athletic training services and sports medicine for youth, high school, collegiate, and adult sports, event EMT and paramedic coverage for events and gatherings of all types and sizes, ensuring everyone's safety, injury prevention and workplace injury programs for commercial and industrial organizations, American Red Cross training, ideal for coaches, youth group leaders, church organizations, businesses of all sizes, and school districts. At Capstone, they are committed to delivering exceptional medical services that exceed expectations. No team will work harder or more passionately for you or your athletes. They proudly serve athletes of all ages, schools, businesses, and event organizers, ensuring the health and safety of every individual in every setting. Whether on the field, at work, or during special events, Capstone's here to protect, support, and serve because your safety is our top priority. To learn how Capstone Medical Services can support your school, organization, or event, call 855-EVENT-CMS or visit capstonemedicalservices.com. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by SRA Home Products. South Jersey, let me tell you about my friends over at SRA Home Products. SRA has been building sunrooms, pergolas, and patio covers for over 25 years. They've built more than 9,000 projects in the Delaware Valley alone. And I've had the opportunity to be around Mike Fody, the owner, and I have nothing but the best things to say about Mike and his crew. SRA is a gold-accredited member of the Better Business Bureau under the elite provider status with Home Advisor, and they've racked up a number of Best of South Jersey awards in the past. They also contribute to multiple sport associations and are huge supporters of Williamstown football. Find them online at srahomeproducts.com.
Enthusiastic about football? Become a part of the NJFOA South Football Association and team up with us to officiate high school football. Join us on the field. Our cadet class kicks off in March. Register on our website or by scanning the QR code in this ad. Put the stripes on and join us on the gridiron today.
Welcome back, New Jersey football fans, to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. It's time to dive into the action the second week of the public playoffs here. We got some great games. I would say this is always one of the best weekends of football. Sectional finals are great. State semifinals great. State finals are awesome. But this one really, there is usually some pretty interesting action. So let's start at Central Jersey Group 1. The 4-seed Manville is 10-0. They beat Asbury Park last week 35-0. And 4 or 5 games supposed to be close. It wasn't here. Josh D'Ambrosio threw the ball 4 times and completed all 4, 116 yards and a touchdown. He ran 18 times for 173 yards and a touchdown. And Isaiah Bennett carried 13 times for 89 yards and 2 touchdowns as they made quick work of the Blue Bishops. So Manville's the 4 seed. They're 10-0. They're headed to top seeded Burlington City. His only loss was the Group 3 Burlington Township in a close game earlier this year. The Blue Devils are 9-1. This game will be Friday at 6 p.m. at Wilbur Watts Intermediate School. Burlington City, in their first-round matchup, beat Boundbrook 48-0. Dante Davis, 10 carries, 270 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Folks, that's 27 yards per carry for Dante. Malachi Sadler caught a touchdown and also had a knot with a kickoff return for touchdown. Burlington City has put together an incredible season. They picked up right where they left off the first week of the playoffs. I'm sure they're glad to be playing at home through this Central Jersey bracket as far as they go. Our other semifinal, we got Point Pleasant Beach, is at Shore Regional. So that's the other semifinal, Central Jersey, Group 1. Mac, Burlington City's been great all year. Davis, Sadler, Shanzy, they got it going on.
Yeah, I mean, another school that when you see size-wise, I was talking to some folks who aren't totally familiar with New Jersey football. I'm like, explaining the groups, et cetera.
Right.
That's another one like Glassboro that you get off the bus and they pass the eye test.
Yeah.
And, and it like the old saying, you don't need 55 players. You need about 11 players. Dudes. And they got some dudes. And it shows. And, they're looking to make a run. And, it's, they know what's in front of them, but, it could shape up nice for some nice matchups.
South Jersey Group 1, that was Central, but in South 1, Salem is 6-4. They're at Glassboro, who's 10-0 and has not been threatened really. That game is Friday at 6 p.m. Let's talk about Salem first. They beat Kip, the 4 seed, in their first playoff game on Saturday, 47-0. Some of the stats from the Rams there, Isaiah Santiago and Desmond Thomas each ran for 2 touchdowns. But I want to shout out this guy, Antoine Rogers, who's a kid who's put in the work on and off the field, defensive end, Temple commit. This kid had a game, this is a game kids dream about, right? 7.5 sacks. In one game, Max. Yeah, 7.5 sacks.
That's that's a lot. That's a lot.
What a game from Mr. Rogers. Yeah. I know he's certainly turned Salem into his neighborhood this year. He's put in a ton of work. I talked to Coach Carr earlier this week about all the things that he's done, all the right things, putting himself forward as an example of what the football program can do for him. So shout out to him, Mr. Rogers. I think he has 20 sacks on the season, but 7.5 in a game. Big deal. Salem defense had a great game against Kip. Gave up next to nothing. Walked in, walked out. 47-0 win. Kip was the 4 seed. So Salem's at 6-4, and they're playing good football. Their gift is going to Glassboro. Glassboro rolled Audubon 41-0 in their opener last Thursday night. Jack O'Connell, 13 of 28 for 206 and a touchdown. Amari Sabb and Brandon Simmons each had a pick 6. Xavier Sabb with a kickoff return for touchdown. So they scored 3 times, not on offense. Knots. Unfortunately, we don't have video of those, but they truly did happen. We'll talk about Glassboro, Burlington City. Could it be a matchup down the line? We don't know. Everything's got to play out as it is. But 2 teams at the top of their brackets with decisive victories in the first round. The next matchup, I think, is everybody has a little bit of something that they're paying attention to in this one, as 6-seeded Shalleck at 4-6 heads to 2nd-seeded Paulsboro Saturday at noon. Let's talk about Shalleck, the Cougars, first, though. They beat Pennsville 21-16 in an upset win last week in the bracket. Pennsville was the 3 seed. Not an easy place to play at Pennsville. Kenneth Barty, 2 rushing touchdowns and a pass touchdown. He accounted for all the offense for the Cougars under Coach Leamy. His first year there, his first playoff win. A big win for them, a team that's putting it together here. We've seen Shalleck's another program that they rose up under Coach Wilson. He built a great thing there, and now they're picking up where they left off. 8 to 10 years ago, it wasn't exactly that case down there at Shalleck. So they're going to head to Paulsboro Saturday at noon. Now, Paulsboro, I think, let's go through the stats first. Their win over Woodbury, 38-0. Paris Graves, 21 carries, 150 yards, and a touchdown. Zay Mears runs for 2 touchdowns. Kyer Harvey runs for a touchdown. It's a late hit on the Paulsboro quarterback out of bounds towards the end of that game. It resulted in a brawl or melee or whatever other word you want to call it. Paulsboro players certainly defending their quarterback. The end result is that Paulsboro has 16 players suspended, and they will play. Some wondered, would they be able to play? Would the state rule them ineligible or not? They did come out earlier this week, the state, and said 16 players are suspended. So for Paulsboro, I mean, that's probably half their roster. I think they had 36 kids listed. 16 are out. For Shalleck, they don't know which 16 it is. So they don't know. I mean, I'm sure they can make some guesswork on hearsay. They might have some people running rumors up and down from Paulsboro to Shalleck. Some Benedict Arnolds in Paulsboro that are giving some inside info.
It's good.
But what I'll say is, if you don't know, I mean, I guess if you're there's a lot of ways to look at this, but let's look at it this way from Shalleck's perspective, Coach. If you're Shalleck, you got to think, let's prepare for the guys we see on film. If they're not there, it's a backup who's playing for them, so maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, schematically, you got to prepare for what Paulsboro does offensively, what they do defensively. They're not going to change. They might water it down. I mean, let's. Where JV players, depends on who's not playing what. I assume the Paulsboro quarterback will be playing, but who knows? He's the one who was late hit. Was it the starter that was late hit? Was he still in the game up 38-0? Mm-hmm. When we watching Redskins,
I don't think Dan Quinn was paying attention.
Did I say? I should have said Commodores.
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah, but saying that. There's rules. There's things that got to happen. Now, I think people are scratching their heads on what are the rules, right? With suspensions, right? We've seen in prior teams, kids being suspended more than if you get 3 suspended during a year, I think you don't qualify for the playoffs according to some regs. And then we've also seen guys that we've seen people get kicked out of games and in other sports, and teams allowed to move on and not allowed to play those kids. So. I mean, I'm not sure what the rule is, Rod. I like suspending the kids that committed the. I never like suspending a whole team. I like punishing the kids that did the crime, and then move on.
What I'll say is,
I don't know what the actual rule is because it's been different for different situations.
What you just said is what basically the takeaway is here. I don't know the rule. You don't know the rule. I'm not sure
Rod, you know the rule?
I don't know what the rule is or where it. I mean, it would be foolish to try to predict what's going to happen in these instances.
Well, we've seen other teams. Who was the was Camden High, right?
Camden and Pleasantville in football.
Right. They've missed
Camden High in basketball.
Right. So we've seen other teams,
but those are regular season incidents.
Woodbury girls basketball.
Well, and this year Week Wayek.
Yeah, I guess my question is, it's not more so. You knew players were going to get suspended. I guess my question is, are they suspended for leaving the bench, or are they suspended for the actual brawl? Because this is why I asked that question. If the people that are on the field and don't get suspended, they'll have their starters, and you only need 11.
Yeah, right. If it's the right 11.
These are kids from Paulsboro. They're kind of used to going both ways. They're a smaller program.
They go both ways anyway.
So you can kind of
the same. To your point, Rod. If you're getting in trouble for leaving the bench,
right?
Because I don't think you do not get suspended for fighting in a game. Like I've seen, you can get penalized. You can get
right,
but it's not a stone cold. Now if you're ejected for fighting,
that's something different.
That's something different because there can be a couple melees, but then the rule, it's like hockey fights, right? Like you can't leave the bench, you can't leave the sideline. That's easy to see usually.
Now, if that's the case where you get 16 players that left the bench getting suspended, they're probably the JV guys.
Yeah, right.
We cool with that. We're ready to roll. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
We'll show up with the 11.
Well, per the reporting of Tom McGurk earlier this week at the Courier Post, I have just pulled up exactly what the quote is that came out from the NJSA. An altercation broke out along the Paulsboro sideline, which escalated onto the field. Video review confirmed multiple Paulsboro players engaged in fighting and left the bench area, along with several from Woodbury. As required by NJSIA rules, any player engaged in fighting or leaving the bench area during an altercation is disqualified. Based on the review, 16 Paulsboro players and 4 Woodbury players to date have been identified for disqualification and are subject to a 1-game sit. Both schools have been notified and disqualifications have been entered into the system. Tom also wrote, there is an NJSI rule that states if 3 players are disqualified during the regular season, the team would be ineligible for the postseason, which are the cases we talked about. However, the rule doesn't carry over to the postseason. So, that's really where the question lies of, maybe the bylaw needs to be edited to stipulate it. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But I will say this. Certainly, it's going to be an interesting situation for Paulsboro as they play without half their roster.
Yeah, but to Rod's point, which half?
Right. Yeah. No, that's valid. From a football perspective, it's very valid.
I'm just asking, Coach.
I'm just saying. I'm not. Listen, it's a shame it happened. It shouldn't have happened.
Right.
It is what it is. I'm sure Coach is pissed. Both coaches are pissed. I mean, no coach likes this to happen. It can get messy.
And like you said, we love rivalries. We love the two towns going at it for their Thanksgiving games or just the history of those two teams.
Yes.
Not Thanksgiving. They didn't play Thanksgiving. That was Gateway they usually play. Mm-hmm. But they have a rivalry, right? We want to see that at the highest level without all the extra stuff.
It's just don't act like a numbskull.
Yeah.
Because you embarrass yourself, you embarrass your team,
the town.
You put your teammates in a horrible position. For the team that advanced, for the team that didn't, you still embarrass your family, your school, all that stuff. Just don't be a knucklehead. And and the thing is that to me is very clear that through a number of years here, we have seen high-profile situations where teams like Camden basketball, a team that probably would have won the state championship, gets disqualified. We've seen, this year Week Wake's a great team. Camden High football, other teams that have lost a shot at this glory. They're perfect teach tape to say, this is what we do not want to happen. And it still happens every year. So the deterrent that is, we'll knock you out of the playoffs if you fight. It doesn't work because people still do it.
Well, because kids are knuckleheads. And there's got to be you have to. I'm not blaming coaches, but there has to be a discipline within a program as well of saying, look, you're not a tough guy because it sucks or stinks what just happened, but let's settle it. It's already been settled in the field. It's 38-0, right? I mean, the game's all but over. 4 minutes left, right? So. I will tell you, I got my only flag, my only 15-yarder in my career. One, leaving the bench to go out on the field and break up high school kids fighting. Meaning, the ref said to me, he goes, Mac, I just dropped a flag on you. I said, I don't care. He's like, what are you doing out here? I go, we are all adults. These are all children. They shouldn't be fighting right now. And, now, thankfully, my buddies are laughing now. I wasn't really breaking up anybody. I was kind of pulling a guy off.
You're like Jeff Van Gundy.
Yeah. I'm pulling my one guy away because I don't want it to become something else, right? Mm-hmm. Because it can escalate. So there's got to be a little more, teams have to have better discipline, better control. I think the refs and coaches should need to be on the same page with all that happening. You see it in college all the time. The refs don't yell at the college when those big O-line and D-line coaches get in the middle of those scrums, like on those sidelines there, you see those assistant coaches jump in. The refs aren't like yelling at the assistant coaches. The refs are like, hey, thank God, because this thing could get ugly quick. Or those pregame scuffles that happen. There's always assistant coaches respecting each other. I've seen other team coaches not hit, but push on other teams, and the other coaches respect what's going on. We're trying to keep this thing right. We all got a pretty good thing here. Let's not get stupid.
And that's the only thing I'll say from the perspective of these kids being new. Like we understand that it's happened before.
Yeah, they don't know.
But the kids don't know. So
kids don't wear their seatbelts. Kids don't do drink and drive, unfortunately. Kids don't, they still break rules. Right. And so do adults. And it happens all the time. People are getting screwed up all the time.
So what has to happen is that there has to be a better communication, with the coaches, the parents, and the officials. I know I've been a part of certain games. I'm not blaming the officials for this one because I was not there. But I know I've been a part of games where you see things happening and you're kind of letting them know, like, yo, this could get out of hand.
It's going down.
It's going a certain way. Like, we need to get control of this. And to Mac's point, like, sometimes a 15-yarder will wake everybody up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Coaches, get your guys together. We're seeing a little too much going on. We want this game to finish clean. And I'm not saying that that's it, but I think they're
and I wasn't at the game. And was that hit the final straw?
Right.
Was there stuff that was happening?
I think there was a lot that was happening.
Okay. Guess what? You call a timeout in that situation, we're up 30. Everything to lose, Paulsboro. You have everything to lose. Yeah. Woodbury got nothing to lose in that situation.
That's why I say,
with all due respect,
it's so many parts to it.
There's a lot of it. You time out and get a JV game in there, and you bring in 12-year-olds to finish the game and take a couple knees. Like you have to know globally what could come down, and you got to put your ego on the side because you don't. Now you're thinking, oh, we want to get 45 points. No, game's over. You won 38. We're done. Let's go on. We play next week against. We got to move on. We got Shalek, and if we don't have all our guys, now I think they're going to have the right guys. I think we agree that the guys who lead the field, but you just don't like this stuff to intervene or get in the way of,
Well, I think every program in every sport, the coach has a responsibility to say this right in the beginning of the season. If we fight, I just want you to know, you're done. This is my program. It's got my name on the top of it. The same way, a business owner.
Yeah.
Okay? And I tell you what, and the AD can have the same conversation with the coach. Dude.
Rod.
We may get disqualified from the playoffs because we fight.
We got to have that conversation before every game, every quarter.
Every play, every quarter, every huddle, So,
yeah.
No, you do? Timeout. You off the field, sit over there, such and such name. I could name 5 on my old teams, and I'd be like, no, you're out of game. Why am I out? You know why you're out. You're out because you're going to start a fight right now.
Yeah.
Come on, Mac. Nope. Sit over there. You're done. Because the only thing that kids listen to is playing time, Rod.
Yeah.
The gasser after practice, the gassers they got to do, the cleaning up the fields. You know how you hurt football players or any athlete? Take away playing time. If you act a certain way, you don't play. They all just want to play. So get them off the field if they're screwing. If you see it getting a chippy, get them off the field, coaches. Right? And I get it. We've all been the mistake. We've been in things, and you look back, you go, man, we should have pulled this guy. I know a certain situation. We lost a guy for the playoffs.
Well, the sad part is it casts a bad light on everything. It's something you gotta address, right? I mean, it's in the headlines. There's people upset all over wherever. There's people on the teams that didn't get a shot at the state finals because they got disqualified for fighting. They're saying, wait a second, you just suspended 16 guys and we didn't get to. We got to talk about it. And it's It's sad, so let's be better.
It is sad.
Central Jersey Group 2. Let's get back to the ball. 4 seed Manasquan heads to Farnham Park, Camden High, 7-2. Friday night at 6 p.m. We got Manasquan beat Johnson 35-0. Justice Morgan, 27 carries, 207 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dylan Liu, 2 rush touchdowns. The top back for Manasquan, Ace Etienne, was hurt. He didn't play in this game. These other guys picked up the slack. Camden beat Voorhees 53-0. Ahmad Jones, 15-19, 245 touchdowns. Azir Pagan, 4 receptions, 129, 2 touchdowns. Ibn Muhammad, 2 receptions, took 1 to the house. And the Camden defense had 9 sacks. I mean, they beat up Voorhees, the Vikings. The other semifinal in this one takes place in the Shore. Rumson Fairhaven heads to Wall. Rumson, defending state champs, is on the road against the Crimson Knights. In South Jersey Group 2, you got Lower Cape May at 8-2. Look, this is a team that earlier in the season, they hosted Gloucester, and Gloucester took it to them. They repaid the favor last week as they knocked the Lions out of the playoffs 34-13. David Douglas with 5 rushing touchdowns for the Caper Tigers. Their reward will be top-seeded Haddonfield, who beat 8-seeded Willingboro, one of the scariest 8 seeds you're going to see around. 20-14 in double overtime. Willingboro missed a field goal to send it, and that sent it to double overtime. Brody Leonard, 25 carries, 143 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Van Lafakis ran for touchdown as the Haddons move on. You got 3 seed in that bracket. Delran, 9-1. They beat Overbrook 35-18. Vinny Sacca, 6 of 9, 110 yards and a touchdown. He ran for 2 more. Nick Peen, 10 carries, 138 yards and a touchdown. Justin Mary Jr., 3 receptions, 93 yards and a touchdown, and he ran a kickback for score. West Defford took care of Eastside on Saturday, 30-15. Zamir Davis, 19 carries, 117 yards and 3 touchdowns. Cole Paskowitz, 16 carries, 96 yards and a touchdown. That double-headed running attack for the Eagles. So you got West Defford and Delran, looks like a classic. 7 o'clock Friday down on Crown Point. Both teams at 9-1. And then Lower Cape May, a team that, really showed us something in the first round, headed to Haddonfield. Another game, Mac, where there's a lot of travel. And that's at 7 p.m. I know many are thinking about that West Defford Haddonfield matchup. Could it happen in a sectional final? But these games here look to be like they could be classics. I think on the other side, I think Camden High took care of their business.
Yeah.
And I think that they probably feel like Manasquan's a team likes to run the ball a lot. And Camden High prides themselves on their ability to stop the run, certainly. A good set of games.
Yeah, great games. I mean, these back in the day. Look, not too long ago. These were quote unquote the semifinals. The states. These were like all or nothing, right? You win this game, you get this. You get to go play at Rowan. You get to go play at state final set. So, and we used to talk to our kids about, look, once you get to the final, like all bets are off, right? Like it's like getting to. The goal is, I know you want to win the Super Bowl, you want to win the national championship, but when you're in that game, it's almost like the type of caliber of teams you're playing in that game. It's you talk about in the margins of error with making mistakes and winning those type of games. So these are those games that, man, I remember, and I say this too, in 14, we lose in this first round, and we got ourselves together again to play on Thanksgiving and played fairly well on Thanksgiving to win. Where in 15, we lost in this round, the second round, the sectional state semifinal in 2015. We lost at Toms River North again and the semis. And 4 days later, we got to play a Thanksgiving game against Shawnee. And we couldn't, you didn't have enough time to get over that devastation of not going to a state final. So, that progression of, in those games, these are those games back. This is the 1 versus 4, the 2 versus 3. This is, getting to that sectional final, which I think still, I'm old school, right? Sectional final still means something, right?
Yeah, of course it does.
It's not like just it's not states or bust. Let's go win the sectional final, right? Let's win, let's win the pennant. Let's win the National League East. There's still something to be said.
Yeah.
With especially in some of these more traditional seeding type and South and Central type deals. So this is where the gloves come off, right? This is where these are the games, man. These are the games. If you could be a clone and get somewhere and be somewhere in 2 places at once, these are the ones that they usually are the overtime and the skin of your teeth type.
Yeah.
Move on and advance and get to the final.
And anybody who's watching, be sure to drop in the game you're looking forward to the most this weekend because there are some great choices. In Central Jersey, Group 3, Matawan, the 7th seed, upset Somerville, 14-13. Blair Carter Gagnon, 19-32, 202 yards, and he ran for a touchdown. Kevin Augusta, I guess, pick 6 for Matawan. Big upset there. They head to Seneca, the 3 seed, 8-2. This is Friday at 6 p.m. at Seneca. Seneca beat Ewing 41-7, made quick work of them. Anthony Tirico at quarterback. He's on here every week. We talk about what he's been able to do. One of the best quarterbacks in South Jersey. 7 of 11, 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. 15 carries, 183 and a touchdown. Nate Sauerwald caught 2 touchdowns. The other side of the bracket there, you have Neptune at Homedale. Homedale rolled last week, and Jack Cannon at quarterback is certainly pretty tough. They are the top seed. So Seneca gets to host. With that upset of Matawan, they have to come down to Seneca. In South 3, you got Mainland, the 4 seed at 6-4. At Burlington Township, the 1 seed, 10-0, Friday at 6 p.m. We mentioned this Mainland game, the rivalry game against Ocean City, then playing it again in the playoffs, and they took care of business. Close in the first half, blew it open in the second half, 43-7. As Matt Ulmer pointed out in our chat last week, they don't get to turn the bridge the different colors anymore, sadly. But I think everybody in their heart of hearts knows that the bridge would be green this week. John Franchini, 12 of 14, 154 yards, 3 touchdowns, 13 carries, 106 yards, 2 touchdowns. Average coming into this game was about 178, 183 total yards, somewhere around there per game. Jake Blum catches 2 touchdowns, and Mainland defense terrorizes the Raiders with 9 sacks. The Falcons remain unbeaten against Timber Creek, 18-8, closer game than the seeding may have indicated. Gerald Sackey with 2 receiving touchdowns for Coach Everett's club. That one stands out, and so does the other game in that bracket. Pleasantville, 7-3, the 3 seed, heads to Cedar Creek, the 2 seed, 8-2, Saturday at noon. Pleasantville beat 6-seeded Delsey, 23-14. I'm going to pronounce it. Takeas Barnes, 3 rushing touchdowns. Takees, I'm sorry.
Takees.
The pronunciation's in here. Thank you, Chris Baker. Takees Barnes, 3 rushing touchdowns for the Greyhounds. And Cedar Creek beat Triton 35-6. Frenchman Bethea, 104 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. He carried 7 times for 144 and another score. Amir Dunbar, another 100-yard rusher, 13 carries, 100 yards, and a touchdown. Jameer Canfield, 1 receiving touchdown. Pleasantville Cedar Creek has that potential to be a crazy game because it seems like anytime 2 teams from that area play of similar talent level, it gets wild, right? I mean, we saw Cedar Creek and Atlantic City earlier this year. Cedar Creek scored, I think, 3 times on defense in a crazy game. Cedar Creek Holy Spirit was another knockdown, drag-out game, a high-scoring affair. Cedar Creek Ocean City went to overtime. Pleasantville's had some games where they went through a stretch where they didn't give up anything on defense. Then they went through other games. They scored a lot of points. It's a very interesting game there. So 3-seeded Pleasantville, 2-seeded Cedar Creek, and 4-seeded Mainland and top-seeded Burlington Township. On the Seneca side, Seneca wants to get back to another sectional final. They've had a streak of those. We'll see if they can do so in a game they should be favored in against Matawan. Given that they were the 7th seed, Tirico will have to do his thing, as he has done for the Golden Eagles. But Pleasantville, Cedar Creek, Mainland, Burlington Township, Mac, initial thoughts on 2 very, very good games. And we thought this bracket was the most wide open when we started. You look at it now and you think, these are some really classic matchups.
Well, yeah, but it's interesting. The Mainland one kind of reminds me of that Toms River North, right? Mainland's got the pedigree. Everybody knows what they did over the last couple of years. A little bit of a down year, but now it's playoff time. And there's coaches over there. I know them fairly well.
Yeah.
I know they got those kids knowing that it doesn't matter what happened prior to November 1st. Like it is now. This is when they start counting you. This is when they start. This is when they put stuff in the trophy case. So Burlington Township has 10-0, man. It's tough being 10-0. I mean, it's tough being 10-0 because you got to get. Coach has to be like, guys, who cares that we're 10-0, right? Like it doesn't matter. The whole thing about because Mainland doesn't have to protect an undefeated season, right? Obvious. So.
Well, Burlington Township's undefeated. They played a lot of close games, and the one side of that is people say, well, they haven't really been blowing people out. Well, that's true, but the other side of it is they know how to win close games. They've done it throughout. They did it last week. So
no doubt. So that's why
experience they can draw from.
Right. That's what makes it interesting. And then the talent throwing in Pleasantville, Cedar Creek. I mean, that's just as fun, right? You got two teams have had 2 great seasons, and Pleasantville beat another perennial, right, in Delsey. So it's you're getting to that point where a funky play here. This is this is a special teams, right? A kick return here, a punt return there, a funky play, that type of game here. You want to be on the good side of a funky play in a playoff game. That's for darn sure.
Speaking of funky plays, I think we got knots of the week, Rod. We got knots of the week. Let's go ahead and do them.
Segue. See? Segue.
Perfect. Location. There's no better location than the football field, but for all your other real estate needs, call Ashley Franchini. Do not make a mistake when you're looking for real estate, folks. Reach out to Ashley at 609-233-6116 or at franchinirealestate.com. All right. Here we go. We got Delsey and Pleasantville. We just talked about Pleasantville. This might be the only bad thing that happened to Pleasantville, but we got to shout out our guy Delsey's Milo Gebhardt here. The ball's on the ground. It pops up right to Milo. He takes it to the house. 86 yards. I know it's a low light for Pleasantville, but I got to shout out Mike McGarry, our buddy at Press of Atlantic City. Sent this to me live and said, this has to be a nod of the week. So thank you, Mike. Now we're going to go to Overbrook and Delran. Our number one nod of the week is Justin Mary Jr. He's found the end zone a few times on special teams and defense, and he's taken this all the way to the house. Look, great field, the Bears' den. I'm sure Nathan Martyr was up in the press box going nuts. I'm sure people were enjoying one of South Jersey's best cheeseburgers at the concession stand. They may have spit out a bite when they saw what was happening. Congratulations, Justin. And I got to give a shout out to Justin. Hey, look, the kid watches the show. He's in tune to what's happening. He sent me a message, said I got a nod of the week. Send the video.
Well, here's the thing.
You can nominate yourself.
Well, here's the thing.
To prevent that.
Couple things. One, Delsey's knot was in a loss, which doesn't usually happen, right? We always talk about this on the show. Two, the knot that is the dagger is I love the kickoff returns. I love the punt returns. They are non-offense. You're not on offense, but you're about to be on offense. It's kind of your first play of offense. The block punt, pick six, scoop score, that's stealing a possession and getting touchdowns. That's like a knot on steroids.
I think we'll have to go.
So I love the kick returns. Don't get me wrong. Special teams plays are I think they're amongst themselves in a whole different animal.
I think at the end of the year, and I'm going to ask Chris Baker, I'm going to make a plea to him on the show. Let's find the team that has the most knots. And at the end of the year, we'll give them the nod of the year winner. Now, I'm going to guess now.
It's 2000.
I'm going to guess it's Glassboro right now.
Yeah, I would think.
But I could be wrong. I mean, Delran's had a number of them. All the good teams have had a handful of them, right? Yeah. Washington Township's had some. But Glassboro, I mean, they had 3 last week. It feels like every week they have 2 or 3.
Glassboro could have double. I mentioned they got almost double digits.
Didn't we have somebody that had 3 knots or 2 knots in the game or something like that? I can't remember.
Yeah, we did.
A couple weeks ago.
Shawnee's had a bunch too, right?
Shawnee's had a lot.
Bartasius had a couple kick picks and pick 6. He had the 1, and then Nichols has had a couple kick returns. I think he had 3 against Lenape alone.
Yeah, some opportunistic teams.
Yeah.
So let's take this opportunity to send it to the break. We'll be right back. We're going to look at our non-pub matchups, and then eventually we're going to get to Group 4 and 5. So stay tuned with the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. In less than 4 years, the association created the Battle at the Beach and has dedicated itself to helping others. The association has donated close to $100,000 to date to provide scholarships through the National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. The group has also donated to the charity Philly Faces, which helps those in need of facial reconstruction surgery. Thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for their sponsorship of the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by Capstone Medical Services, a dedicated team of experienced healthcare professionals with a strong presence at the youth, middle school, high school, collegiate, and post-collegiate levels. They specialize in athletic training services and sports medicine for youth, high school, collegiate, and adult sports. Event EMT and paramedic coverage for events and gatherings of all types and sizes, ensuring everyone's safety. Injury prevention and workplace injury programs for commercial and industrial organizations. American Red Cross training, ideal for coaches, youth group leaders, church organizations, businesses of all sizes, and school districts. At Capstone, they are committed to delivering exceptional medical services that exceed expectations. No team will work harder or more passionately for you or your athletes. They proudly serve athletes of all ages, schools, businesses, and event organizers, ensuring the health and safety of every individual in every setting. Whether on the field, at work, or during special events, Capstone's here to protect, support, and serve because your safety is our top priority. To learn how Capstone Medical Services can support your school, organization, or event, call 855-EVENT-CMS or visit capstonemedicalservices.com. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by SRA Home Products. South Jersey, let me tell you about my friends over at SRA Home Products. SRA has been building sunrooms, pergolas, and patio covers for over 25 years. They've built more than 9,000 projects in the Delaware Valley alone. And I've had the opportunity to be around Mike Fody, the owner, and I have nothing but the best things to say about Mike and his crew. SRA is a gold-accredited member of the Better Business Bureau under the elite provider status with Home Advisor, and they've racked up a number of Best of South Jersey awards in the past. They also contribute to multiple sport associations and are huge supporters of Williamstown football. Find them online at srahomeproducts.com.
Enthusiastic about football? Become a part of the NJFOA South Football Association and team up with us to officiate high school football. Join us on the field. Our cadet class kicks off in March. Register on our website or by scanning the QR code in this ad. Put the stripes on and join us on the gridiron today.
The non-public brackets have been released, of course, last weekend, and we're going to talk about them right here. Let's first talk about non-public A. St. Augustine at 6-3, the 7th seed, plays at 2nd seed St. Peter's, 7-2. This is Friday, November 14th. It's at Keene University. You look at some of the players from prep. I know it hasn't been the season many Hermit fans have been hoping for, but Roman Coney, one of the best backs in South Jersey, 145 carries for 948 yards and 15 touchdowns. Ty McClear has 3 total touchdowns. Damari Simeon, 4.5 sacks, 15 tackles for loss, 35 total tackles. Ohio State commit up front. And Luke Tanzola, great kicker, 4 for 5 for field goals, 25 and 26 on extra points. For St. Peter's, the 2 seed, Tyler, I know in North Jersey there's a lot of discussion around if they should be the 2 seed or if someone else should be the 2 seed. I mean, I'm not going to weigh in on that because I don't know, but I know there was a lot of hubbub. Tyler Bell, 110 from 166 passing, 1,500 yards, 24 touchdowns to just 1 interception. Great year for him. He's also run for 4 touchdowns. Abdul Toure, 5 rushing touchdowns, 741 yards. Sebastian Gray on defense, 4 sacks, 15 tackles for loss, 45 total tackles. Hunter Watson, a receiver, 38 receptions, 769 yards, 14 touchdowns. St. Peter's only 2 losses came to great teams in DePaul and Don Bosco. And St. Augustine, Here's a fact about them. They beat St. Peter's the last time they played them in the first round, 2023, by a score of 35-14. In non-public B, you got Holy Spirit at 5-3, the 5 seed. They are hosting St. Mary's of Rutherford, who's 4-6. This will be this Friday at 6 p.m. Ty Costabile, 1,700 yards passing, 23 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Emmanuel Jarena, 8 touchdowns on just 22 catches. Taylor Cartwright, 405 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns. And Freddie Marchik, 10 sacks, 9.5 tackles for loss, 54 total tackles. It is the 4th consecutive season. Sorry, Mac, I might have got a pen on there. On your Shawnee covered, you're wearing Shawnee colors tonight. 4th straight year for Holy Spirit with a first-round home playoff game. St. Mary's, they've had a good season as well. Not what they would want at 4-6, but they're headed to a place in Absecon where it has been good to opposing teams. Hasn't been good to local parochial teams recently either. And the Gales, for them, they've only played one parochial this season. It was Immaculata on Halloween. They lost 43-0. Paul to 6 at 4-4. The 6th seed, they're going to host St. Joe Hamilton Friday night, the 11th seed, 7-1 at 7 p.m. Paul to 6, I've seen them. Dalton Filanes at quarterback. Good quarterback, 1,100 yards passing. But Nate Klecko, really, everything runs through him. He does an excellent job. Hard runner. You might know the name, right? The Klecko family name carries a lot of weight with good reason. 121 carries, 518 yards, 7 touchdowns. Also caught a touchdown, 4 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, 32 total tackles, and 4 forced fumbles. Tyree Roan, 398 yards receiving and a touchdown. Anthony Jackson has 5 touchdowns, 7 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, 53 total tackles. T. Beto, I know you're in here. You're saying the winner of Bosco and Bergen Catholic will play St. Joe's in the championship in non-public A. Okay. And non-public B, Paramus. Is that Paramus Catholic? Who's PC? DePaul versus
Paramus, probably.
Okay.
That's what he's.
I thought Paramus was A. I don't know. Spell it out for us because we need to know. We know you're our guy scouting the non-pubs up north. St. Joe Academy, Anthony Salamone, 1,268 yards passing, 13 touchdowns to 1 interception. He's run for 5 touchdowns. Cole Brubaker, Zakai DeJesus, whichever, do a good job for them. And Lucas Sciano, 5 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, 35 total tackles. St. Joe's first playoff appearance since 2022. And for PVI, it's the first time since 2023 they'll face a West Jersey Football League team in the first round. A little local flavor there. Mac, non-pubs, again, we get to this point in the season. I think Holy Spirit has put together a nice run here to close things out. I think they get better every week. It seems like every year when we look at Holy Spirit at the beginning of the season, you're never really sure how it's going to come together. They just continue to improve. St. Augustine, Tough Task, and non-pub A is, it's the best grouping in New Jersey. There's no question about that.
One of the best groups in the state.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the country.
In the country.
Yeah.
No absolutely. Doubt. I'm interested to see that, to take a step back from it and what T. Bettle's talking about, that, Paramus Catholic's B and they used to be A. That mix of those 4 teams of Bergen, Bosco, St. Peter's, and St. Joe Montvale, I'm interested to see how that plays out. Of course, we saw Bergen up close. I saw him up close twice this year. Got a couple hats for the Crusaders. And then whenever that final is, usually at MetLife on Black Friday, is always a great game.
No doubt.
To watch. And the fan bases turn out. It's big-time football, no question about it. So, big-time ball. It's nice Bergen have seen them twice this year. You know what they got when they're going in there. And
dudes.
They got a couple dudes, a couple hats.
Couple hats. A lot of people up there.
A lot of people. We have 2 sections left to preview. Group 4 and Group 5. And we're going to talk about the game in a week. Sit tight. Stay tuned. We're coming right back after this, the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. In less than 4 years, the association created the Battle at the Beach and has dedicated itself to helping others. The association has donated close to $100,000 to date to provide scholarships through the National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. The group has also donated to the charity Philly Faces, which helps those in need of facial reconstruction surgery. Thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for their sponsorship of the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by Capstone Medical Services, a dedicated team of experienced healthcare professionals with a strong presence at the youth, middle school, high school, collegiate, and post-collegiate levels. They specialize in athletic training services and sports medicine for youth, high school, collegiate, and adult sports, event EMT and paramedic coverage for events and gatherings of all types and sizes, ensuring everyone's safety, injury prevention and workplace injury programs for commercial and industrial organizations, American Red Cross training, ideal for coaches, youth group leaders, church organizations, businesses of all sizes, and school districts. At Capstone, they are committed to delivering exceptional medical services that exceed expectations. No team will work harder or more passionately for you or your athletes. They proudly serve athletes of all ages, schools, businesses, and event organizers, ensuring the health and safety of every individual in every setting. Whether on the field, at work, or during special events, Capstone's here to protect, support, and serve because your safety is our top priority. To learn how Capstone Medical Services can support your school, organization, or event, call 855-EVENT-CMS or visit capstonemedicalservices.com. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by SRA Home Products. South Jersey, let me tell you about my friends over at SRA Home Products. SRA has been building sunrooms, pergolas, and patio covers for over 25 years. They've built more than 9,000 projects in the Delaware Valley alone. And I've had the opportunity to be around Mike Fody, the owner, and I have nothing but the best things to say about Mike and his crew. SRA is a gold-accredited member of the Better Business Bureau under the elite provider status with Home Advisor, and they've racked up a number of Best of South Jersey awards in the past. They also contribute to multiple sport associations and are huge supporters of Williamstown football. Find them online at srahomeproducts.com.
Enthusiastic about football? Become a part of the NJFOA South Football Association and team up with us to officiate high school football. Join us on the field. Our cadet class kicks off in March. Register on our website or by scanning the QR code in this ad. Put the stripes on and join us on the gridiron today.
Welcome back, New Jersey football fans. Hello. We're back with the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. Let me tell you something. We on?
We're live.
Okay, we're on.
Well, while you're
Rod, sometimes Rod gives the 1 second, like give me a second.
Yeah, he gave you the pause.
He audible.
All right, I gotta interject here. We got breaking news, hot route here. Coach Johnny Martino wins his first game at Camden Catholic.
I thought it was Jack.
Jack Martino? No, it's John Martino. Otherwise known as Marty in the coaching circles. Coach Martino has been an assistant coach in South Jersey 20-some years. He's got 3 championships, one with Pennsauken, one with Holy Cross, one with the Lenape Indians.
I love Marty.
Marty's the best, and he's the head coach of Camden Catholic. Then they beat Holy Cross tonight, 20-8. I think was the final. I think it just ended. Congrats.
Congrats, Marty. First win.
First win for Marty. He's been a part of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of others and been a lot of reasons for a lot of wins. Now that he's at the helm, I know it's been a tough beginning there at Camden Catholic. So congrats to him and the staff and all the guys there. Coach Wash is with them former coach at Lenape. And actually, Eric Angerstein played at Bishop Eustace back in the early 2000s.
And brighter days ahead for Marty. I mean, I don't think it's – I mean, this year was rough, but let's hope brighter days are ahead.
Absolutely. So we move on to the playoffs. Congrats, Marty, my man.
Yeah, Rod's got – before we get there, there's – I got to give a shout-out here to Coach Breaker at Glassboro, who we said we didn't have Glassboro's knots. So what did he do during one of the breaks? He sent them to me. We got them, all 3 of them, and Rod, cue them up, man.
We're taking it from the top.
Take it from the top.
Location.
Oh, Ashley Franchini again.
Football field, but for all your other
right?
real estate needs, call Ashley Franchini. Do not make a mistake when you're looking for real estate, folks. Reach out to Ashley at 609-233-6116 or at franchinirealestate.com.
We saw this one. This is Delson.
Location. There's no better location than
hold on one second. I'm trying to do this on the fly.
It's all right.
Give me a second. I want to make sure.
We got all the time in the world.
Hold on 1 second. It says that this one should be the right one. Let's go from the top.
Location. There's no better location than the football field, but for all your other real estate needs, call Ashley Franchini. Do not make a mistake when you're looking for real estate, folks. Reach out to Ashley at 609-233-6116 or at franchinirealestate.com.
All right. Well, first we got Keon Sabb. This ball dribbles itself to Keon and picks it up at the 21. And one of the top players in the country at his grade, he just knows, any little sliver, and he's taking it back. That's what. Look at the checkerboard end zone for Glassboro. That's beautiful.
That's nice.
Now his brother Amari, a deep ball, little Willie Mays catch. He's taking that back, weaving around, trying to find a lane, thinking up, checkerboard end zone.
Woot.
Not number 2.
Woot.
Brandon Simmons, one of the best defensive linemen in South Jersey. Look at this. Deflection. I got that. No, I got it. I'm taking it. Don't worry. I'm taking this to the house. We don't have checkerboards in this end zone. But either way, I'm in. They all count the same. 3 knots for the Bulldogs.
Well done. I think they got over 10 of the year, 9, 10.
Somebody said they've had a ton of touchdowns called back this year. It's been pretty lopsided for the Bulldogs. They are hosting Salem on Friday night in the sectional semifinals. Group 4 sectional semifinals. Mac, you got your Shawnee wardrobe on here, talking about Lenape, where we wore all red in the Shawnee, then you show up in your Columbia blue and navy blue pants. I know where your allegiances lie nowadays with the family and the Renegades. At 7-3, you're going to be taking the trek over to Atco.
Yes, I am.
Against Winslow, the 1 seed, Saturday, 1 p.m. Shawnee beat Saucon last week, 28-12 in a rematch. A little bit closer this time around. Cole Anderson runs for 223 yards, 2 touchdowns. Brett Lumberg runs for 131 yards and 2 touchdowns. Winslow took care of Cumberland 56-0. Jalen Parker, 201 yards, 3 touchdowns. Nike Helton just committed to the University of North Carolina. Congratulations, Boomer. 5 receptions, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Quade Hendricks just got an offer from West Virginia University.
And Minnesota.
The Gophers. You betcha. He had a punt return score. Winslow, Shawnee, Mac, we've talked about it before the show, that this traditionally has been, it seems like, I know it's only been a couple times, but it feels like every year for the past decade, Shawnee's going to Winslow in the playoffs.
I know me as a dad has seen my sons play against Winslow in key, crucial playoff sectional finals over the last 3, 5, 7 years, 8 years that have been going. I've been at Winslow Field because it's never at Shawnee. It's in the afternoon. Used to be some Friday nights down there.
One was a Saturday night.
Saturday night. Yeah, it was. Saturday night. I think it was Freddie's senior year. So, look, Winslow's loaded. I was at the Shawnee game. I kind of knew the Shawnee-Penn Saucon game was going to be a little tighter than the prior game that they played, just because I'm an old man and I've seen a lot of football and I know how high school kids' brains work. And, I get that look from my own son, like, how'd you kind of know it was going to be a little closer? And I'm like, yeah, we've seen this movie. But it was a 7-6 game going into the fourth quarter. And then Shawnee, just they controlled the fourth quarter. Give Pennsauken credit. Shawnee took the lead, and then Pennsauken fought back to make it 14-12. Missed a 2-point conversion. And then Shawnee really responded with like 3 straight plays. It went Anderson, Lumberg, Anderson, and it was bang, bang, bang to make it 21-12. And I think that kind of put the lid on it, and then 28. And we've talked about Winslow all year. They're loaded. They got dudes at every position. They got, recruits, legit blue star kids everywhere. Blue chip, excuse me, and they just 5-star, 4-star, right? I mean, they got dudes.
Every attribute, every adjective you can put.
Everything. Now, again, they got to play the game. They got to play the game. We went there last year. It was pretty windy. Shawnee hung around for a little bit, and then Winslow pulled away. I'll tell you. Winslow's the prohibitive favorite in this. Everybody kind of knows that. The chalk has the way they've been playing. But program-wise, Shawnee, doesn't back down in these situations. They show up. They're prepared, both sides of the ball. If I'm Coach Belton, I'm telling my guys, look, you guys, we've played these guys. They're not chalking it up as a Winslow win, and it's let's get back on the bus. Winslow's got a ton of talent, but, Shawnee does as well. We talk about, Bartasius on defense and Nichols and Cleaver and Lumberg and crew and up front, John Mosier, et cetera. The Wall kid at center. And Duffy, they've had a really nice year. They've lost a couple games just by a couple points. So they've been in a lot of different situations. So, again.
Well, they've been prolific running the ball this year.
No doubt.
They are probably the best run team in South Jersey, I would say, statistically. 90 to 95% of the offense has been on the ground. I think they usually put in the air between 6 and 12 times. They're going to have to find some passing plays
no doubt.
in this game. That's what it comes down to. You probably going to have to be plus in field position, turnovers, find some pass plays, some pop plays, right?
Best player, best play. I mean, you look at, if you're going to stop a team, you're going to stop what they do best. You got to figure out what they do, what they want to do, who they want to give it to, when they want to give it to them. And then, easier said than done, but figure that stuff out. The teams that are the 2 or 3-headed monsters, not only through talent-wise, but through the air and through the ground, and can do some different things, throw on off downs, keep ahead of the sticks. You can't be a 3rd and 9 throw team anywhere, not just Shawnee, and they're the type of things that and in these type of games, if you said to me, what does Shawnee have to do to win?
I just told you what they have to do to win.
Yeah. But they got to do something else too. No, not only that. I'm
not going to ask you.
You got to block a punt. You got to return a kick. You got to get
some knots.
You got to get the funky. We go back to the Timber Creek days, right? Back with the Ryan kid, right? Ryan Parrish, the Parrish kid.
Mm-hmm.
The funky plays that I think he blocked the punt against Timber Creek, and some goofy stuff happens. And you get those games back in 2015, 16, like that. The goofy stuff is what you look at those type of games and say, that's what we got to take care of. And then, and then if you're Winslow, you're like, don't be goofy. Right? Just do what we do. Don't be, don't look past this team. Don't be looking at Millville. Don't be looking at semifinals. Don't be looking at state finals. Just keep focused and take care of business. Easier said than done.
Well, and a good point here about Millville. Let's talk about that game. Interesting matchup.
Segue.
Great segue. Yeah. Northern Burlington is 7-3, the 6th seed. Beats Central last week in an upset, 24-14. Brent Wallach, 16 carries, 132 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he had a pick on defense. He was on By the Numbers on the D2 Sports Network. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to click over to that once this is done. Gave an interview. He had an incredible play. He spins around. Everybody thought he was down. He knew he wasn't. He got up and ran it in to help upset Central. Big win for Northern Burlington. Wallach's put up big numbers all year. They're going to head to Millville. Another one where we talk about eliminating Trible. I don't think he did so here. The 2 seed at 5-4. This game's Friday at 6 p.m. at Wheaton Field. The Orange and Blue gang, right? OBG, they beat Toms River East, another Toms River East came to Millville. It's another game, quite a commute. 49-7. Robbie O'Connor threw 4 touchdowns. Reggie Holly had 3 total touchdowns, 2 rushing and 1 receiving. Millville, exactly where they expect to be, right? Sectional semifinal, shot sectional final against Winslow. They also can't look too far ahead to that matchup. And Northern Burlington, a team with a kid who's having a heck of a season and a team that's feeling good about themselves with the Greyhounds. It's good to talk about them. It's been a number of years since really they've had the type of team that's gotten to this point. Rob, what did you learn from Brent when he joined the show last night?
Oh, man, he's a phenomenal kid, first of all. Phenomenal athlete, baseball kid, football as well, but just very smart IQ-wise. That play is just one of those where everybody stops except for the person who knows that he wasn't down. And a lot of times in that situation, players don't have the wherewithal to keep going. They kind of stop too and look around. But the way that he, spun out, landed on a player, got up and just started running really quick was just showing his awareness of the game and awareness of where he was on the field. Really good guy.
Heck of a player, right? That should be, 2 interesting matchups in Group 4. One on Saturday at 1 p.m. Winslow. Yeah.
And I just want to give a shout out to Millville Holly.
Yeah. Great season.
After the first game, they put, I believe it was a battle at the beach. They put him in Wildcat formation. At that moment, I kind of figured he would be the guy that they had to lean on. And he's done a phenomenal job of picking it up because early in the year, a lot of people were kind of wondering who was going to be the guy after, Brooks who was going to be the playmaker. He's been a playmaker, and every time they've asked him to make a play, he has been a guy to make a play. So I want to say salute to him.
Heck of a year.
Really good player.
Heck of a year.
Yeah.
Big game for Millville, Northern Burlington in town. Central Jersey Group 4. I was looking at this past week. In 2018, Long Branch won Central Jersey Group 4.
Mm-hmm.
In 2019, it was Hamilton. We've had Winslow win it. We've had Millville win it. We've had Mainland win it. It hasn't been since 2018 that a South Jersey team didn't win the Central Jersey Group 4 playoff bracket. But this year, no South Jersey teams were in it. I would partially because of the new process and the new system here.
So the new system wasn't to help transportation.
Well, I don't know. But what I do know is the semifinals that we have in Central Jersey 4. You have Steinert at Brick Memorial. Brick Memorial is the 1 seed. And you have Middletown North, who beat their rival for the first time in a long time, Middletown South, on a pick 6 at the end of that game. And they play at Manalapan. Also have to give a shout-out from earlier in the show. We talked about Lower Cape May coming back and beating Gloucester. Our guy, Matt Ulmer, he sends me a video during the show of Jaden Henry. And Jaden Henry of Lower Cape May, my hat is off to you. Gloucester broke a long run. They're up 13-7. Could be putting the game away. Jaden Henry hustles all the way down the field and strips the running back at the 1-yard line. Lower Cape May recovers it. Then they scored 27 unanswered points. A big play that was built off hustle. I don't have the video here to show you, but I'll say any coach should show that video along with the video of the teams on day 1 where it's talking about getting disqualified from the playoffs. The second teaching moment should be we hustle all the way to the goal line.
Oh, don't quit. Don't quit on plays.
So thank you, Jaden Henry, for your play. And sorry we don't have the video on here, but shout out to you for that. South Jersey Group 5. 2 great matchups. Toms River North at 5-5. Saw them last week. They're at number 1 seed Atlantic City 8-1. Friday at 6 p.m. Atlantic City rolled through Cherokee 37-7. Marvin Burrows threw for 4 touchdowns, 134 yards. Tamir Rex and Kyrie Barksdale and Jalen Day each caught a touchdown, and Omar Kelly had 2 sacks. The Vikings are playing well. They throw the ball well. The defense is coming alive. On the other side of the bracket, you got 3-seeded Kingsway 8-2 at Southern 9-1 Friday at 6 p.m. Southern beat Williamstown 36-3. Carson Abato, 7-10, 142 yards and a touchdown. Nico Iliesco, 16 carries, 101 yards, and 4 touchdowns as the Rams rolled the Braves. Now, Kingsway beat Eastern on Thursday night, 23-14. David Oravets pass touchdown. Cole Danick, I think he carried 23 times in the second half of a close game. And I'll tell you this, whatever Kingsway is going to do and what they've done this season, Cole Danick's the heartbeat of that team. I mean, at linebacker or running back, this is a kid who, I think it was 14-14 at halftime. I believe it was tied or very close. And you give the ball to that kid 23 times in the second half, you come away with a 9-point win the first round of the playoffs. Hey, that's your moneymaker. That's your bread and butter. Oravets can throw it. He can run it. Interesting matchup there as Kingsway heads to Southern. Toms River North heads to Atlantic City. You got 2 Shore Conference versus West Jersey Football League matchups in South Jersey Group 5. In Central Jersey Group 5, you have Old Bridge at Sayreville. In the bottom of that bracket, I saw Old Bridge at the Bow of the Beach, very good team. Also saw Southern Bow of the Beach, very good team. Old Bridge at Sayreville is in the bottom of that bracket. And a game of the week for us for the second time this year. I think it might be a little closer than the first time. 4-seeded Rancocas Valley in Central 5 at 6-4. Heads to top seeded Washington Township at 10-0 Friday at 6 p.m. RV rolled Hillsborough 33-0 last week. Savion Adams looked like the Savion Adams of old. 10 of 17, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, also ran for 2. Mikey McQueen, 5 receptions, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick 6. Washington Township handled their business against 8-seeded Hal, 41-0. Colaquino, 10 of 11, 97 yards, 2 touchdowns. Darian Joyner, Ethan Binder, 1 reception for score each. And Jalen Robinson ran for a touchdown, had 3 sacks. We mentioned this earlier in the season. We mentioned the beginning of the season. It seemed like RV and Washington Township right here, right? During the season, Adams gets hurt. Township keeps hitting the gas pedal. When they played a few weeks ago at RV, Township steamrolled them. It was close for much of the first half. I think RV had a couple opportunities. They wish they had back. A drop touchdown pass. Several drops in the game. Also, through an interception, probably forced the ball. Adams' first game back, knocking off the rust. Not really running, just passing. But at this point, no matter where anybody was, up or down, they're going to meet on the field on Friday night.
At Township again. If you can get me in, I think I'm going to go.
Okay. Yeah. I think I can get you in.
Get me in on that.
Kevin Murphy, we need another pass for Coach Mack. You can make that happen.
Murph, can I come to the game? Great game.
One of the best, Kevin Murphy.
Yeah, no doubt. I want to see the game. This is kind of like you said. We had kind of circled this prior. Some things have happened, plus, minus, both sides. But as you said, now it kind of 5-4 doesn't matter versus 10-0, right? It's us versus you. It's to move on. It's to win. If you're RV, you haven't had your guy in full gear the whole season, right? If you're Township, you get to do another special opportunity, right? Keep the magic going. Playing a second time, it's always a little bit interesting, especially when teams are the first half evenly matched. It should be a really, really cool game.
Tail of the tape here, there's only one game this year where Washington Township hasn't scored in the 30s or above, and that was Millville. They beat them 21-10. 43, 41, 40, 38, 48, 38, 39, 38, 41. They beat RV 38-17 the first time. I think it was 21-17 at halftime. The offense has been great. Coach Holmes has done a great job with the run game. You got Paris Pratt, Jair Moore. These guys have been able to do a lot in the pass game with Aquino. He's the type of luxury every quarterback, every coach in South Jersey or New Jersey would want to have. The guy who goes 10 of 11. You don't have to pass it much, but when he does, he's efficient. Can get outside the pocket, knows the offense in and out. He's been starting for, I think, 3 years. You go back to last year, these two teams played twice. Only played once last year. Washington Township lost that game 27-0 at Washington Township. So RV put it on them. The common denominator last year was RV lost to Toms River North in the sectional final, and Washington Township lost to them in the state semifinal. A lot of familiarity. Two great young coaches in Coach Garrett Lucas at RV and Mike Schatzman in Washington Township. Two programs that are big schools, big communities, big talent-rich communities,
big support,
tradition-rich communities. A regional school and then a school that, is just enormous, right? So if you can't get excited for this one, what can you get excited
No
for?
doubt. And like I said, throw out the records. I mean, the 6-4, the losses, you play with what you got, but now we know if you get it back, if you get a hand, if you get an ace LT, you don't hand it, you don't throw it back in the pile. RV's got their ace back. So, and that's not a shot. That's to Township. It's fun to watch these guys with both full decks, right? We'll keep that analogy rolling. That's what you want to see. Township has earned this home field advantage, which is definitely a home field advantage at that place. Looking at both sides of it. If you're RV, you're like, look, we have 4 losses. Everybody thinks, we don't know. And if you're Schwatzman, you coach, you're basically telling these guys, yo, this is a different RV team. This is playoffs now, guys. You thought we had to crank it up last week a notch. We got to crank it up even another notch on this one. Again, it goes down to one of those great sectional semifinal games.
Well, and Rancocas Valley getting a little bit of their juice back in terms of their results, right? Because they went through the 4-game stretch with Camden, they lost 8-6. Williamstown, they lost 21-18 without Adams. They kept it together without him. They lose those 2 close ones. Washington Township, we talked about that. The next week, St. Augustine, I think they're up 14-0, or they're up at halftime, and they lose that game 28-14. The next 2, Lenape, they beat 34-0. And then Hillsborough, they beat 33-0. So they're feeling good.
Yeah,
things are starting to click into gear for them. They feel probably at that point. I mean, you win 2 games, 67-0, 2 games. You're feeling good. Got that confidence boost after the 4-game losing streak. And now it's anybody's game. Rob, what do you got?
Magic number 28. 28 points they need. Township.
Yeah, well, I don't think someone scores above 30 in this.
I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
I look at both of them scoring. They both score. So I'm just thinking about what if I'm RV, I'm thinking about how many we need to score. I mean, they're average. Mark read them off. They're almost averaging 40 points a game.
I think 31 gets it done, but
I think it's a shootout.
That's me.
I think it's a shootout because when Washington Township played Kingsway, they had some turnovers in that game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had some dead-end drives. They still scored 39 points. So even if I just expect some fireworks, I would take the over. If I was I don't know what the line would be. I would think on this one you go.
I'll take the high school over.
I think it would sit somewhere probably around
68. 70?
I think you probably look at, let's see, 52.5.
Oh, I'd hammer that over.
Okay, you want to go 57.5?
Hammer that one too.
Okay.
I think it's good. I'm thinking 31-28.
That's 59. So 58.5.
All right. I hammered 52, but what did I say? I said 65 at first. Never mind. That's a lot. But hey.
I'm at like 49.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, the
Rod's looking at a 20, 28, 21 jaunt.
The beauty of the game is that, and having seen Township a number of times, and seeing the first half of Rancocas Valley against Township, I would say, no matter what happens early, you just got to keep plugging away because quickly things, points can get on the board there.
Yeah,
quickly. So
you're never out of it. Look, RV's got a history of knowing they can score at any time, and now obviously Township does now too. It's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a fun game at a good place.
Game of the week. Looking forward to it.
I got no hat to give, though.
You got no hat. That's all right.
I don't wear
hats.
hats.
Give mine. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this week. Next week, we'll talk sectional finals for the public schools. I want to thank our guy, Chris Baker, for running down all the stats, pulling them together. The people who submitted the knots of the week, Del Rand, Mr. Mike McGarry on behalf of Delsey, and Timmy Breaker Glassboro. Thank you. Thank you, Ashley Franchini, as always, for sponsoring Knots of the Week. All the viewers, be sure to share it out. I know everybody wants to get ready for the game, so we'll have all the action on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can go back and rewatch here. And, of course, thanks to Rod and his company, D2 Sports Network. He gets it all done here from beautiful Studio B. I cannot recommend a first-class studio more than Rod's. He'll hook you up with photos, video, podcasting, anything you need. As Emil Aquino says, get your popcorn ready. Mac, we are at some of the best football of the year.
Sectional semifinals. It's all. I mean, it's the best. It's the best time of year, and it's seniors. It could be your last high school football game.
That's right.
I mean, this is kind of it. This is it.
Thank you all for tuning in to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. We'll be back next week at 7 p.m. to recap what happened this week and take a look ahead at those sectional finals and also the non-pub matchups that exist. For Rod Self, Tim McAneney, I'm Mark Trible. Thank you.
See you at the Cannon. Boom.